All right, y'all, what is going on? Back with another video. And today I want to talk about adapting to the gaming industry. You know, a lot of things are going on right now with Blue Point Games. They have been laid off. You see what happened with Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. They're leaving in some form of fashion. And Xbox and PlayStation is kind of like, in a frenzy right now, especially the fans. The company's kind of haywire right now. The fans are going haywire. We don't know what's going on. Then when you look at the PC gaming landscape, we may not even be getting GPUs in the next, year or so from NVIDIA. So it's kind of crazy what's going on with that. And when you look at Nintendo, Nintendo's just, for the most part, just being Nintendo, kind of just stagnant, nothing really innovative. They're just doing their own thing. But that doesn't help any matters when the entire industry is pretty much off the rails right now. So my thing about this is like when you look at the game industry trying to adapt, what do you do? Where do you go? How do you fit in a space where it's kind of like, all over the place? You don't know where to go or whatever the case may be. Now, for people who are established gamers like myself and people who are having, this one area of gaming that you just like to play, like for instance, if you like to play Madden, you like to play Call of Duty, you like to play, any, Fortnite. If you just have these one or two games that you try to play, you're good because you already have your lane. You're not necessarily adapting. You're just like, look, I'm over here, I'm good. But I'm talking about people who are variety gamers like I am. If you're looking at my room right now, I mean, I have like a whole bunch of games and I have a whole bunch of consoles. I do a lot of gaming in, this room, and I just do a lot of gaming in general. And it gets to a point where people like me are always trying to find the next new thing to play because you have a lot of games, you probably ran through a lot of games, you probably beat a lot of stuff, and you just don't know where to go. Now, like I said, adapting to this is not going to be easy for a lot of people. Some people have been gaming for decades. For me, I've been playing games since I was 5 years old, and I'm in my early 40s, so I've been playing for a very long time. And some people aren't really used to just changing their habits or changing their hobby and or changing the way they go about their hobby and doing something that maybe in the long run is beneficial to them. Now, this is my suggestion. Now, all these games I do have in my game room are a lot of games that have high replay value. I can always go back to probably about 60, maybe 70% of the games I have here. I can always go back to them and enjoy them just like they were the first time me playing them. And this is one thing that a lot of people have to start to realize, that even if you're playing on an NES, even if you're playing on a N64 or a Sega Saturn or a PlayStation 2, anything up to now, you have to find some games that's going to stand the test of time that you will always enjoy, because the new games that are coming out now are games that are basically one and done's, or they're just going to be recurring live services where you're throwing a bunch of money into these games with no benefit on the back end. And when I say there's no benefit, I've seen people, even in the space of playing, sports titles or playing MMOs or playing, other forms of live services, first person shooters, they dump a lot of money into these games, and sometimes the servers get shut down, or you just have like this very high rank in this game, which is, for some people that means a lot. I'm not trying to downplay it, but when you really look at it in the scheme of things, these are just things that's on a screen that shows your, the time that you've played in a game. That money, is it really worth that money that you put in to do that? And sometimes you just have to figure out, like, hey, I'm gonna have to adapt to where I feel like I get real value out of these games. Now, some people may feel like they get real value out of that, and kudos to them. This is go back to what I was saying, that the people who are playing the Fortnites of the world, the PUBGs, the Madden Ultimate teams, and they found their one lane, the NBA 2Ks. They found their one lane that they want to play, and they're good. But I mean, just from a financial standpoint, and this is not a financial channel, but from a financial standpoint, there's no way I'm going to be putting thousands of dollars into a game where I'm not going to see anything in return but what I see on the screen, or the servers get shut down and I never see any of that progress ever again. So these are the things that I'm really, that's one of the main things that I'm against, those type of things. Like, it's one thing to play the game and don't have to throw money at it. And the people who do that play with no money involved, those are the real MVPs, because that takes a lot of willpower and it takes a lot of discipline not to put money into these live services and still be successful. That is incredible. To be quite honest, that's really incredible. But for the most part, a lot of people aren't finding ways to adapt to where, hey, look, I need to get me a good bit of games that I can play, and no matter what the industry does, I can cut off whatever, I can cut off any mechanism I have to look at the doom and gloom of the industry and go back to playing a game that I love, and I'll still have a great time. And this is what I've been doing. Like, I've dumbed down my entire gaming avenue to the point where I just went back to the basics. I stopped trying to use all these retro upscalers. I stopped trying to use all these things to put these old consoles on flat TVs. I just went back to my CRT and just kept it simple like it was in the 90s when I was growing up. When it comes to the newer consoles, I put them exactly on the flat screen TVs. When it comes to my PlayStation 5, I've been putting that on my, the 4K monitor, or my, PC, playing that just like it was. And I'm not trying to do too much. I'm just trying to keep it very simple the way I've been playing games. And, at the end of the day, that does give you a sense of, you know, I guess I ain't gonna sense of accomplishment. I mean, that's like not the right thing to say. I say the right peace of mind. You know that you can play a game. You're not trying to worry about, oh, this game looks good on this screen, or can I get this in progressive scan, or why should I play this game at whatever resolution or whatever. You just try to play these games at the best performance that it allows, and just play the game. And I've been finding so much value in doing that. And I've just been realizing, like, when you really just optimize the games the way they're supposed to be, you actually start to realize how well some of these games actually run. There's a lot of influence right around here that puts you in a position where you feel that the game has to be a certain way. It has to play like this. It has to play. Just do your own thing. And that's the best way to adapt with what's going on in the gaming industry. Just adapt to what you have in front of you. Find games that you know that you like, not what other people saying that is good. Go out and explore and find certain things or certain games that you will enjoy. And you won't have to worry about what studio is shutting down and this, that, and the third. Now, don't get me wrong, when a studio shutdowns, this sucks. Blue Point Games there should be no reason why Blue Point Games is being shut down. But that is an industry issue that is not going to get better. It's not. I promise you. I'm almost like 95% certain that whatever we had back in 2016 is not coming back. I think that I ain't gonna say it's the cutoff point, but that's where things started going on in 2016. And every now and then you got something here and there that resembles what 2016 was, but we're not going back to that. And what happened in 2020 with the pandemic, it just made everything worse. Now you got executives trying to uh nickel and dime everybody because they don't have the passion, they don't have the love, they don't have the feel of the players. They just want to take whatever is in your wallet, put it in their wallet, and have a good time with their uh, quarter earnings. They don't care about what we want as gamers. When you have to go back in time, and I hate to say this, you either have to look really hard in the at modern gaming to find those certain games that gives you that satisfaction and that enjoyment of the last decade or the past decade, or you just have to go back to those games of that decade. This is like, look, I mean, like all the games I have right here, from the original Xbox, the PlayStation 5 up here, my Nintendo stuff, more PS3, Xbox 360 over here, Saturn, all of these games that I have over here. I mean, even my N64 and all these other games that I have over here are games that I know, like, these are games that I'm gonna be able to play and always have a good time with. Maybe some of the games don't play, at a full 60 frame per second. Sometimes they do have glitches and hiccups and bugs in it or whatever. Sometimes the game may act funny sometimes, especially when you're trying to take an original Xbox and put it on a flat screen TV. But last night I put my original Xbox back on the CRT behind me, and a lot of that stuff went away. Yeah, I'm playing at 480i, but I'm playing some of the greatest games that has been made. Even my PlayStation 2. put that back over there as well. Yeah, I'm playing at 480i, but I can play light gun games. I can play any game that I want to over there and don't have to worry about something wigging out. Yeah, it's not flat screen, but hey, yeah, it's not 16 by 9 widescreen, but hey, these games are played pretty much the way they're intended to be played. And I figured out like I can play like this and don't have to worry about what the industry have to say. You know, no matter what happens, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, whatever live service, they can't do anything about what's happening over there. My 4K TV over here, they can't do anything whatever I put over there because it just to me when you're constantly I ain't gonna say constantly, but when you see all these stories about all these companies that are always in the mix of trying to nickel and dime us and taking studios away and doing all this stuff, it it just messes with the psyche. It does for me anyway, because this is basically my life. This is my passion. This is something that I've been dealing with, or this is something I've been a part of ever since I was in kindergarten. you know, Back in the late 80s when I was in kindergarten, this is something I've been doing all this time. It is now 2026, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let some people in a corporate office or people at a corporate entity is going to ruin the hobby that I've been a part of all this time. I will adapt and I will play the games I want to play and never have to worry about whatever they're doing. Does it suck? Absolutely. It sucks. And it is one of the worst things that has been going on in the past couple of years when it comes to the gaming industries. It's been a bunch of layoffs, and it absolutely sucks for people losing their jobs. But at the end of the day, I can't let it get me down. I have to continue to enjoy this hobby and play and have my enjoyment for my sanity. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but people don't realize how therapeutic playing these video games are, especially when you got the right video game that you truly love to play. You have no idea how therapeutic it is and how much sanity that you keep by playing these games. A lot of these items kept me and a lot of my friends out of trouble growing up. And to be honest, it's keeping some of my friends out of trouble to this day. But at the end of the day, you guys let me know what you think. I feel that this industry is about to fall apart. It really is. I mean, and I haven't even talked about the AI stuff, but it's about to get really really bad. It's gonna get worse before it get better. I will say that. For every Expedition 33 that's out there, you're gonna have what's that new game that just came out that's not doing well? Not Ashes of Creation, but it was another game. High Guard. Yeah, you're gonna have another High Guard. It's just not. It's not viable. You just got a lot of guys in suits that don't know anything about the passion of this gaming landscape. And when you go back and look at the 90s and the early to the mid 2000s, even up to the 2010s, you had a lot of developers, you had a lot of companies that had passion and wanted to make some incredible games. And there's still some out there to this day, but you literally have to use binoculars to find them. It's pretty sad. But you guys let me know what you guys think. I am going to get up out of here. Thanks everybody who's been watching the channel. We are getting close to 1,000 subs. It is absolutely amazing how much support you guys have been giving me. This is a one-man show. Me and I just come up here and just speak my mind, and I really appreciate you guys. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. See you like excuse me. See you guys later. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.